What's happening, Ed?
Happy Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Right? Isn't that Taco Tuesday?
Yes, Taco Tuesday, Ed. It's not the first thing that comes to my mind, but okay.
I don't know why it came to mind just now either. We're just trying to figure out.
Must be hungry before lunch is what it is. Yeah.
What's going on?
Not much. A little heat wave going on here in Atlanta, as you know.
It's hot out there.
Other than that, let me see. On the road a little bit. Did a couple of events. All good. Nothing new. How about yourself?
So just having a blast. Hanging around, going all the different brands, just making my way around.
How many have you visited so far in the last 30 days?
I've been in 5 different brands in the past 30 days, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Some longer stays, some shorter stays.
Okay. Any favorites?
No, I can't.
You can't throw any favorites? I might want thought of favorites or something.
I have no favorites. Okay. By the way, if you've not yet, in the chat, we're giving away this fancy Rollins swag again. Quarter zips, they're beautiful things. All you have to do in the chat is just post the World Cup winner. Yeah. So get after it. Simple thing. Pick your team. Put it in the chat. If you get it right, you win one of these fancy dancy Rollins Way swags.
They're nice. They're nice.
Really nice. I mean,
nice. A lot of people on the chat here. Let me see what we got. I see Eric Spangbar.
America.
Is that how you say, man? Did I get that right? Close
USA,
to it, man?
Mexico's got a great team, by the way.
You know, if I can see the ceiling, man, and see the little thing on your head, it looks weird, man. You want to adjust the angle on that thing, man. There you go. Oh, my man. There you go. That's a pro now.
So we talked earlier on the earlier broadcast about the World Cup, right? And I think most of these folks, a lot of these folks know I had a chance to go to the Toronto game up there for Croatia and in Panama. My son's a big Luka Modric fan.
Okay.
So he got in the lottery like a year and a half ago, and he got tickets to all 3 of the Croatia games.
That's amazing.
And he went to all. He went to Dallas. He went to Philly, and we went to Toronto together. The place was alive, man. It was electric, and I know soccer a little bit because he played a little bit, but he knows soccer, and what an experience! Just the crowd and the singing and the chanting and the drinking.
What?
Yeah, there was a dude sitting next to us. It was from Croatia, very broken English. He and my son were high-fiving the whole time, right? Victor, he chain smoked, like he was hotboxing cigarettes the whole time.
Really?
He must have smoked a pack of cigarettes in the game.
Holy crap,
having no idea that you couldn't smoke cigarettes in the stadium. But nobody said anything to him, and he was a big dude, and nobody was messing with him. So
I lived in Argentina for 2 years.
For that telecom company.
Yes. And so I was invited to a soccer game, and I'm like, I was reluctant. I'm like, not really into it. It's boring to me, right? It takes a long time to score. But I'm just telling you, it's a religious experience to go to one. Because they were just like, Ed, they were doing this whole thing. They were chanting.
Oh, yeah.
And you could feel the stadium vibrating. As I told you, I went into civil engineering mode, thinking about how much load can the stadium handle before it collapses.
Fall down.
Yeah, I know. But my God, it's a totally different, like I said, it is the game, but it's not the game. It's just the whole vibe.
Yeah, and I think that being in Toronto, I think was, Toronto, very metropolitan city, man. Just a mix and mingle of all kinds of flavors and colors and everything up there, right? But all the different jerseys, all the different teams, all the different nations represented. We watched that Croatia game at the stadium. Then we caught the Mexico game at night, and we were in a bar with like 300 people, watching this game, and the place just exploded.
Yeah. Well, you see those videos on social media, like on X, of all these people having these different experiences, especially I think it's kind of cool that people are going through the U.S. and saying, this place is pretty nice.
Yeah, I love some of that stuff. That's all the good publicity, right?
The one that keeps popping up, and now it's on my bucket list. I've never been to Sedona. But apparently people were discovering Sedona. Europeans are discovering Sedona, so I need to go to Sedona.
Yeah, like Texas barbecue. I mean, all that kind of stuff. They were just some of the feedback you're getting. Like you said, it's pretty cool to see folks kind of falling in love with our country.
And the surprising thing is air conditioning. That's the one that kills me.
Yeah.
They talk about how they don't have air conditioning. I'm like, oh my, we're in Georgia. We're thinking, you got to have air conditioning.
You got to have it, right? Yeah. In fact, my son's got friends in Germany, right?
Yep.
That came over for the one Germany game he went to, and they have no air conditioning, and there's like a heat wave going on right there.
Yeah. It gives you an appreciation of all the things we take for granted in this great country.
Yeah. Amen.
So
USA, Mexico, anybody else?
Timor, USA. No, not a lot of voting going on here, man.
Nobody jumping on the favorites. No Argentina, no France.
A lot of USA.
Yeah.
Norway kicking in. Christopher, I hear you on that one. Mm-hmm. But a lot of USA. All right.
And yet, the cool thing about it, I know you don't follow soccer much, but the superstars are showing up, man. The superstars are scoring, right? I mean, just nuts.
What is the guy? Is it Portugal?
Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they in or out, or
they're in?
They made it to the next whatever round.
Yeah, they're in.
Okay.
They're in. Yeah, they're playing.
Right.
They're playing Croatia, so I'm pulling for Croatia. But we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Cool.
But Messi's got a whole bunch of goals, so we'll see what happens.
He was out there.
But so
Wayne Schuff, what's happening?
You still got a chance.
Got the beard going. Got that.
So we gave last broadcast. We put up these quarter zips for winners that if they pick both the NBA winner and the NHL winner, if they pick both of those, they got a chance. So we had like 400 entries, Victor, and out of the 400, 8 folks out of 400 picked both the Knicks and the Hurricanes. And those folks are Michael Ellis from Northwest.
Where are the Hurricanes from?
Carolina. That's hockey.
Is that their name?
That's hockey.
The Carolina Hurricanes?
Carolina Hurricanes, yes.
Hockey,
Victor.
Oh, okay.
Victor's like a...
It's just a corny name, but go ahead.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Michael Ellis out of Northwest, Dean Kerrigan out of Northwest, Gary Cohen out of Western, Tyler Knight out of Northwest, Mike Finkel, we talked about him last week, a Fox winner, Paul Wetzel, a Clark winner, Eric Howell, one of the Clark winners. I think Eric's on the broadcast, in fact, and then Chris Weppert. So we did have one winner out there that we couldn't identify because he couldn't figure out how to take his name from iPad to his name on his Zoom chat, and that was a Fox employee with an iPhone that begins with CJW. So if that's you, you got to tell me so we can get your
CJW
get your broadcast to you. So let's jump into some numbers.
All right,
because the numbers it's a great story. We had a great May. We're way late on this broadcast because of both of our travel kind of situation. So we'll come to you mid-month next month to share, I guess, the first half results. But these are May numbers. So in the month of May, $87 million in residential pest control. Victor, that's a 10.2% year-over-year increase.
Bang!
Double digits. Year-to-date, the Rollins brands, 13.2% year-over-year increase in residential pest control, totaling $390 million in revenue. Just bonkers, right? Sliding over to commercial. We'll do the commercial broadcast at 3, but commercial $48 million in revenue in the month of May. 6.3% increase, not where we want it, but it's acceptable.
We'll talk to them later about that.
We will talk to them later about that. $223 million year to date, which is a 9.3%, so getting closer to that double digit that we chase all the time. The termite side of the house is the best story, quite frankly. $28 million in the month of May, 17.9% year-over-year increase. So just outstanding effort by the folks. And most of these folks are delivering the residential services to include the termite. Year-to-date, $131 million in termite-related revenues. And some of the brands count revenues a little different, so it's kind of funky. But just at the end of the day, that's a 14.5% increase. Which ain't half bad.
Take that every day.
All together, rolling it all together, year to date, the Rollins brands have produced $750 million in
hot dang
in revenue.
Hot dang.
Almost $1 billion in revenue.
That's amazing.
11.9% increase, which is just
half the year.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's 5 months.
5 months. Sorry,
that's 5 months. Like I said, we're coming late. One of the things that jumped off the page when I was pulling numbers together, obviously the RAC contest, the trip out to California is ending here. Today I guess is the last day to get all your stuff into the RAC folks. But what has happened has kind of been a phenomenon that ties into the termite sales, I think, is that the RAC sales, the RAC purchases for the month of May doubled. They were twice as much as they were the year before, twice as much as 2025, to the tune of $2.2 million.
Right.
Barely made $1 million in RAC purchases last year.
Remember that.
And that's just staggering when you think about doubling something.
That's a nice beginning of a trend.
Yeah, super cool. And like all the brands had a killer May, right? So everybody was on board. Everybody played in that increase, which was just outstanding. Year to date, RAC purchases are $11 million, 86% year over year increase. Just phenomenal. The cool thing about the termite ancillary and the RAC is that they kind of go hand in hand. As you grow your ancillary business and your ancillary opportunities and you increase your termite sales, your RAC comes along. Yeah. And the real indicator of it isn't necessarily the total dollars, it's the average job price, right? So as a salesperson, when you think about it, how can I make more money as a salesperson? Well, I can get better closing, right? And I can practice and I can get better and I can become a better professional salesperson. Or, I can do that, of course. And if you add that in addition to bumping up your average job price, getting more money. Instead of selling it for $4,000, selling a package that's worth $6,000. That's where you can really start to make some heavy-duty commissions. And that's where this is coming from. Our average job price in the month of May is up $1,000 over what it was last year. So even if you're a 10% commission, that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit of extra commission coming in just because now we're offering all the services.
I think what's always interesting about that, Ed, is that a lot of sales training is based on how to close more deals.
Yeah.
But we don't look at as you say, the average job size, which is as effective, if not more effective, than the actual close rate.
And that whole broadcast that we did last month about asking for all of it, not selling one today and going back to get the other one tomorrow. Pitching it all up front, laying it out there, throwing it up, all the stuff that the customer's home needs, putting it out there, and then letting them take away what they don't want, right?
Right.
Putting it all out. And I think we talked about it last broadcast, with that big hesitation to, you don't want to risk the one sale, but get past that hesitation. And there's a couple things we'll talk about.
What was that story you were talking about?
I'm going to share it in a minute when we show the numbers. But there's a great story. There's a great testimonial that came out of that. That ends up hitting the numbers.
I love that.
And showing up. But
I look forward to that.
We'll share that. Anything else on that?
That's it.
No, just outstanding company-wide numbers. We obviously, with the quarter close coming up here, I can't talk about any profit. They'll throw me in jail.
Yeah. I would just add, if I could add, is that that I speak to a lot of different companies. In the last month, maybe 3 big companies. And these numbers are just not common. Yeah. Everybody's just trying to hold on. Yeah. And not lose as much. You guys are seeing this perpetual flywheel growth that's just amazing. And I hope people realize this. I can say this because I don't work for the company, is that from the outside looking in, this is like you guys have caught a wave.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful wave. You got the company putting together all these different types of companies, and you guys are on the wave. And I hope people appreciate that this company's on a good wave right now. It's riding a nice wave.
Yeah, I
hope it keeps going.
And you mentioned about my travels and my takeaways from that, right? I think that's one of the things, that messaging I'm trying to get across to the people is sometimes when you're in an environment that's really rocking, you don't realize how good it is, right?
Yeah.
And because you're living it every day, you don't feel it. They don't realize the separation they have from all their competitors. And like when I think about every one of our brands on these calls, they have such uniqueness to them.
Yeah.
That sometimes we're too close to it.
Well, yeah,
to realize you're in greatness.
Well, you're yawning over these numbers. I'll see, and I say that jokingly.
For sure.
You're like, oh yeah, another great month. No, this is not common.
Yeah.
This is not common. You almost want to ring the bell. This is not common. You guys are killing it every month, and you're moving these numbers. And I know that one of the greatest sales laments of many salespeople that I've talked to is that I wish I had appreciated when I was with X company and we were riding that wave and we were having fun and we were making money and we were helping people. And I'm just saying, you guys are in it, and I hope you appreciate that you're in it.
And like I said, while all the brands are a little different, they all have, in my mind, such unique value props that are specific to their own identity.
Yes.
That, man, I guess you don't know how good you got it. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got it really good.
Yep.
You can't be selling for a better company, quite frankly, no matter which one of the brands you work for. They're all that unique. So that's enough on that.
Yep.
But again, that's kind of my observation is like, these folks are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
They got great cultures, they got great people, and they're killing it.
Numbers show it.
So keep it coming. In addition to all those wonderful company-wide numbers,
yes, Ed,
we have a whole bunch of individual performers we want to recognize.
All right.
So get in the chat and shout out your folks as their name pops up.
Shout them out.
So roll the tape, Matt.
Great numbers.
How about that? Just crazy.
A couple of shout outs. Jay Wells says, great job, Jake the Snake.
Jake
I
the
just love
Snake.
Jake the Snake, the wrestler.
The Carrolls are killing it. Yeah, the
Carrolls are killing it.
Father, son, getting after it, right?
Yep.
I think Daddy put the boy in the woodshed again.
That's right.
Took
That's
him out
right.
and just took
Cut
him
the clip out. Daddy is kicking your butt, son. Junior.
That's a great story, though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is.
I mean,
It's
father, son, just getting after it.
Can you imagine those dinners, though?
Well, they don't live together.
Who's picking the bill up this time? I'm just imagining, okay?
I hope the old man's
picking up the bill.
Well, the old man beat him by a pretty good amount, didn't he?
He whooped him.
Yeah,
Can we say that?
He whooped him by 42,000.
Why don't you take this clip and just show it to Junior?
We're going to get in so much trouble.
Yeah, Junior, you got whooped, Junior.
Oh, man.
Right.
No, but even starting out at TruTech Critter Control, $225,000 out of DFW,
Beast.
out of Dallas, Fort Worth. Dustin Pike is a guy on that list I want to shout out.
DP.
He was my ride-along. I spent a whole day with him riding around the field. He's a wildlife salesman for us in like Raleigh, North Carolina, in that area. And I made him promise me that if he had any, I wasn't going to do any snake calls.
Okay.
43 years doing this, I want nothing to do with snakes, right? I walked into a crawl space one time, Victor, and I saw like 15 snake sheds that were like 8, 10 feet long. And So I said, but luckily no snake calls. But Dustin was an interesting case, right? So I always worry when I ride with these guys that I'm going to ruin them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Ed rode with them. First thing is, I got to sell something.
Right.
And it took us till the last call. We had a whole bunch of good pendings, as you say to your boss, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a whole bunch of good ones. But it took our last call, and we sold like a $1,500 deal. But I did save some face, so I didn't have to go back to the house without a sale.
He probably saved some face also. He's like, great. Ed's here. I didn't sell anything.
He wasn't worried about that. I was worried about ruining him. But at that time, he had like 35,000 sold, and that was probably mid-month.
Yeah.
Dude threw up 147,000. So
after you left.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with me. I don't want to give it that. I got him out of my
saying
hair.
after you left as a bad luck charm. But Stiggy started going up. Like, that's
absolutely. Get this guy out of my car. But no, just a great experience hanging out with him. Getting to the IWOW guys, David. Okay. And by the way, Dustin Pike is one of the guys. The RAC contest isn't over, but he's punched his ticket. He's going to be one of the wildlife representatives, without a doubt. David Hopkins is the same way at IWOW. He's been their top guy for the last 5 months. He was their chairman's club guy last year. Punched his ticket for the RAC trip already. Andy Palmer is going to the RAC trip from IWOW as well. Okay. And then you got two guys from Fox at the top of the charts there.
Khalil
and Robert. They're both lost.
He's killing, man.
There's a real battle at the very top to see who finishes number one at RAC.
Okay.
But I mean, look at those numbers.
Robert Jump, nice numbers.
How about, I would love to have this name. Christopher Showmaker from Sailor.
That's a great Showmaker. That's a good last name.
Yeah, I mean, he threw up 117 grand.
Yeah.
Jessica Dennis threw up some big numbers.
Go Jessica.
Home team doing a nice job. Heather Morningstar.
I love that name.
How about that name?
Heather Morningstar.
The second guy on the Clark list, they can't see the numbers now, but it's Joe Melchor. And he's out of Woodlands, Texas. And he did a testimonial. So he's been there for a few years. He's been a pretty solid producer. Mm-hmm. But we did the thing last month about bundling.
Yeah.
And putting it all on the table and letting the customer make the decision.
Correct.
So he readily admits it. I've shared it with the group, and I'm probably going to share it again tonight because it was that impactful.
Right.
To where, he's been a steady producer, clicking along, doing nice work, steady. And they had a door knocker come into his territory. They hired an outside door knocking company to chase these tubes. It's a long story with Home Team.
Yeah.
But this guy came in and he sold to Joe's customers all 5 services, like the ultimate bundle package that Home Team can offer, right? And Joe's trying to he said, this one lady, I was trying to get her to buy 2 things. I was trying to get her to buy pest control and the termite protection.
Right.
And this guy came in and sold her everything.
Wow.
I mean, I've been working on this for like 3-4 months. So he said, to hell with it.
Yeah.
If he can come into my neighborhood and knock on a door and do that, then I'm going to start pitching the ultimate package. He pitching the whole 5-service offering they have to every customer moving forward. The first day he went out victory, he sold 7 of them.
Wow.
7 complete bundles.
Not just one, not just 2.
Almost tripled his average job price. Getting back to that job price, he took it from like a $1,500 sale to like a $3,000 sale.
Yeah.
And he did it 7 times in one day.
Amazing.
And the testimony, I am going to share it again tonight because it's that impactful.
Oh, yeah.
It just shares that message.
I want to see it.
And he's like, I was so mad at myself when that guy came into my turf and sold that lady all those services that I'll be damned if it's going to happen again. And he just started pitching it. And now he's forever and a day going to pitch all the services.
Isn't that interesting yet how it just takes like social proof? Yeah. Somebody doing it in front of your eyes, so to speak. Yeah. And then you go, oh, not that you become a convert, but you say, oh, so in his case, his own limiting belief was that he shouldn't offer all these bundles because they may not buy.
That was it. I'll go onesie twosie. And it ties back in. Originally, when $100,000 used to be the goal at Orkin for an individual salesperson to get paid on in a month, and we called it the perfect mile.
Okay.
Tying into the Roger Bannister running the perfect mile way back when, right? Where nobody thought it was even physically possible. Like you could, a human could not run a 4-minute mile. And so Bannister does it. And then within a couple of weeks, somebody else does it. And then within a month, like 3 or 4 different people have done it, where this level or this range that they never thought anybody could get to becomes, not happenstance, but it's the same thing with the bundle. So when we first launched the perfect mile at Orkin, like one guy did it. And then all of a sudden, like the next month, 7 dudes did it.
Like,
and then 10 more and 10 more. And now, they got 100 people doing it every month over there. So that's kind of that mindset that nobody thinks you can do it. And Joe had this, again, a very good salesman, had this mindset that, he was doing a good job, and I'm going to onesie twosie it. And then somebody
showed it to him?
I think he says the light bulb went on, I think, in the testimonial. So look for that again tonight. I think it's that important.
But I like it. He saw it, but he got also pissed off.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I could do that. Why didn't I do it? And it's almost insulting that somebody takes one of your customers.
Absolutely. And then getting to the Clark guys, we already talked about the Carroll dynamic there. Those guys getting after it.
Nice.
4 or 5 guys over $100,000 over there running, I guess, a perfect mile at Clark. And then the Northwest team kicking in there as well, just getting after it. And then you slide to the rack performers, the top. We had 23 folks get paid or have rack purchases over $25,000 in May, highest month ever. And you just click right down through there.
Jeremy Clue
out of Clark, 199,000.
Let's call that 200,000. I'm sorry, just call it 200.
And the cool thing about that is that while the contest isn't over, he has certainly punched his ticket. For the trip out to California.
Alcanza coming in second there, 87,000. But look at the gap between Alcanza and Cluj.
How about that?
That's huge. That's
I think Kirk told me what that was. That was a couple of big ones, and it wasn't just one sale. I said, was that one big one? He said, no, there were a couple larger ones in there, but it wasn't all that. Maybe somebody can put in the chat what that was.
But this list is getting bigger, though.
Yeah, and then again. Gardano out of Clark, he's qualified for the trip as well. So Clark has clicked the ticket. We're going to have more. We're going to have more brand winners at the RAC trip than we have ever had.
So more representation.
Yeah, more representation. Brands. Everybody has kind of made their quota and filled all their seats, I guess, that Terry and Mike will give them. So I'm really looking forward to that in September.
That's great.
Because that's a great trip. Yeah. Anybody else on that list that pops off?
Just a bunch of great numbers. The fact that this list is growing. It's a beautiful thing.
Perfect. Absolutely. Topic for today. So I'm riding with Dustin Pike, and earlier, one day last month, I had shared an old Orkin Coaches Corner that we'd done about creating urgency, and it was really all based on your mountain nut analogy that we're going to cover in a minute. But Dustin talked to me about that, and he said, I wasn't creating enough urgency for my customers. I wasn't. I didn't want to press too hard, and we'll get into that a little bit, but he said, that really helped me. And maybe that's why he sold 147. We'll give you credit. But when he said that to me sitting in the truck, sometimes you don't know that the stuff that I send out every night
is being read or consumed.
It's being read or being consumed. So if you see something you like, let me know. But or if you see something you want us to talk about, let me know. I'm going into the studio tomorrow with Sonia again to do a whole bunch more Ed Talk. So there'll be another 20 or so of those we'll try to knock out tomorrow. So if you want to see something specific, shoot me a note tonight and we'll try to build it in. But when he said that, I'm saying like, okay, we need to talk about that now.
Right.
So let's talk about that. It's that. I'm just going to turn it over to you because this is. I think this is one of the better pieces of content you've had. And while it's dated, you've updated it, but it just makes sense and everybody talks about it.
Coming back for some reason.
Yeah.
You know how you put content out there, you wonder if anybody's consuming it? This one has been enduring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me share it with you guys. So I talk about there's only 5 reasons people want to buy. And here are the 5 reasons, if we can put up the slide. So I came up with this acronym called Mountain Nut. There's only 5 reasons, I should say 5 reasons. There's 5 motivations for people who want to buy something or not buy something. So in this case, somebody might say, I don't want to buy because I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the need. But the last 2 are really important, urgency and trust. And we talked about this, Ed, that in my opinion, urgency and trust, people have the money. That's why we have RAC, right?
Yep.
have the time, we can make the time, and they obviously have a need. But sometimes there is no sense of urgency. Before we hit the urgency piece, let me hop over to the trust piece, because I think they're interlinked. If I'm talking to a customer and I'm listening to them, empathizing, educating them at the same time, I'm building this, we'll call it again, this trust as we go through the conversation. Then when I'm ready to present my urgency of why this needs to be done, I have more credibility.
Yeah, agreed. And when I think about urgency, I don't know why I just automatically go to just the bad closing tools, right? And bad closing skills.
Yeah.
You know, if we can put something together today, can we do business?
Yeah.
You know, would you buy? You know, or you know, even like some of the bad ones, right? Like the driveway sealer guy, right? That comes and knocks on your door and says, "Hey, I got 50 gallons left over." That just reeks of salesman, right? And so I think sometimes I've seen it handled so badly when you try to create urgency, because we do know a couple things, right? If they don't sign when we're there, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Jeremy. I don't care if you're one of the Carols. If they don't sign when you're there, the likelihood of them signing dips a little bit. Even for our super, I would say a lot, but I'm being nice.
Yeah.
But it dips if you walk out of there without the deal. So how do we create that urgency when, you know, they even made admit, I know that I need it. It makes sense. I think we need it. I'm just not ready now, Victor.
Right.
You know, call me after the holidays or call me after the summer. You know, so I think
these are all signals that you did not create a sense of urgency.
Exactly. And I think the other thing about creating urgency, getting right to that, is we can't wait till the end to have this big crescendo at the end to build urgency.
Yes.
You got to start as soon as you show up. You got to start on the phone.
Right.
You know, when you're talking to that customer, to create that along the way, your inspection, your walk around. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, let's slow that down, because I think that's important. As you're doing a walk around, well, here, I'll just do for general presentations. When I do general sales presentations, I was always about, let me set up the scenario. In this case, they gave you the scenario because, you know, they may have an infestation problem in the long run. But then I go, let me educate you, because I think the education piece is where you build the urgency momentum. When you start saying people, look, da-da-da-da, and if we don't do something like this, this is possibly going to happen, right? And you can play with the language there. Then they go, oh, I didn't know that. Well, did you know that? Da-da-da-da. And again, you're educating them as you're going. But as you're educating them, there's like this sense of urgency. And my best analogy is with a car. So look, Victor, you don't have to put oil all the time, top it off. But here's what happens when you don't change it. And that slowly begins to degrade this. Yeah. If you don't do that, and as I'm educating you about the car, at least my mechanic was, I was like, I can feel that, oh snap, I need to really fix this. So when I get to the close, so to speak, which is, here's what I would recommend. I'm not trying to create this like, you gotta do it now. You gotta do it now. And so, you know, talk about that from your perspective.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I want to make some separation is the separation between, you know, the termites are swarming out of the baseboard in the kid's bedroom, or a mouse is running across the floor and the customer's standing on a chair. The urgency's there, right? They got to do something. They're going to do something. These are what happens these days, you know, because the termite leads are starting to slow down around, you know, maybe different parts of the country are still getting them. But a lot of what we're selling is preventative. A lot of what we're selling is stuff that we discover by going out and doing inspections for current customers and saying, hey, you come down out of the attic and they need insulation. Well, they've needed insulation probably for a long, long time, but they haven't acted on it yet, right? So it's building that urgency in how you do that. So take another.
Can you tell me the story again about how you didn't put insulation, I think, in your attic?
Yeah, maybe I'm beating it up drum, right? So, you know,
it's a great story.
Ohio, where I sold as a salesman back in the late 90s, I was a personal production salesman for 16 years. You know, that's really good. You know, I got a whole bunch of plaques on the wall, but I never bought insulation in my house. And I knew darn well I needed it, right? And I knew money was going out the window, or my equipment was being run up. You know, my stuff was overworking in the summertime, all that kind of stuff. But I never pulled the trigger on it because I didn't have the own urgency, and I had all the knowledge, but I never pulled the trigger, and until the air conditioner failed, and I said, oh man, we're going to get a new air conditioner. We might as well do that now. So that it kind of created its own urgency. But nobody ever nudged me.
Right. I wanted to add that. This is interesting psychologically. For example, the insulation, it's almost like you minimize how much it's going to cost you. Yeah, it might cost me $100 a year more, but it still beats paying for the insulation. So you just let that go, right? Beats paying. There was a study that was done, I think I told you this about, A company comes in to do, energy efficiency for a home, and they walk through the home and they give the person a list of things they need to do, right? And the person says, okay, based on all these things, here's what we recommend to make your house more energy and efficient. And the close rate was something like, I'm guessing now, was like 14, 15%, some really low number. Then they switched the pitch, so to speak. They did the same thing, reviewed the house, went through it. They highlighted all the inefficiencies, and then they added this. If you were to add up all these inefficiencies, that would be the equivalent of a hole the size of a basketball in your wall. And if you had a hole that big, wouldn't you want to fix it? Because they built, you know what I mean? They made it bigger, and the customer imagined a hole the size of a basketball on the wall. And they're like, oh crap, I need to fix that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the close rate went up to like 57, 58%.
And again, we've shared that with the teams over the time, and that people come back and say that's very impactful when they spin that. I think the important thing when you're trying to create urgency is not to come across hokey.
Nope.
I think that's vital. You can't wait till the end. You want to get some of it in on your discovery as you're walking around. Well, man, we got to get that fixed.
I mean, even a simple line like that. Even a simple line like that.
We got to get after that. That can't stay that way.
Now imagine that. Let's take the opposite of what a bad salesperson would say. Oh, I see you have that. Do you think you might want to fix that? They all that hesitation.
We got to fix it.
But as soon as you say, oh, we need to fix that, that comes across with authority.
Right.
In other words, what we're trying to do is be that subject matter expert. It's like, oh, we got to fix that.
Amen.
That can't stay. Right? It's not about, maybe we should fix that. Maybe we should fix that. That's not authority.
And I think that's vitally important when you're taking people around. And then the other things I think you can use to create urgency when you get these creative proposals, because everybody, I've got hundreds of proposals that are sitting out there from when I was out there schlepping around being a salesman.
They're still out there.
That I'm still waiting for them to call. Oh, they're going to call back. They're going to say, hey, I want that insulation, Ed. They're not calling.
Yeah. They're not calling.
So how do you increase that urgency when they say, I want to think about it? Or, we work through and we find out what it is. Maybe it's cost. We know one thing. It's not going to get any cheaper. If we don't address this termite issue now,
it's not going to
get any cheaper. The job price is probably going to go up, and you're at risk of more damage.
Right.
And kind of spinning it that way without being
dramatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Creating this drama, that comes across as you're just trying to pressure me.
Yeah.
And you had a great line from
Jason Sire, right? Just a superstar in the industry. He talks about pressuring the problem, not the person.
That's such a brilliant line.
The minute you start pressing the person, you're that guy, you're that girl, right?
Yeah.
You're this hard closer. Yeah. I've never been comfortable in that situation. Yeah. I've worked in and around some hard closers. Well, there may be a couple that can get away with it nowadays. Yeah. I think that game has sailed.
Yeah.
I think the minute that you come across and they identify you as selling, don't get caught selling, you're done.
Buyers have options.
Yeah.
They don't need you. They go to somebody else.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to Sire's quote about, pressure the problem, not the person. And pressuring the problem means really highlighting for the customer, here's what could happen.
Yeah.
Right? Here's in other words, take their brain, move it into the future. Here's what's going to happen if you don't take care of these problems.
Yeah. I think that's one way. I think the other way is scheduling. So I'll use Dustin as another example. So we went out on 2 bat leads. And in North Carolina, you can't do a darn thing about bats until August 1st. Like, they're protected. You can't exclude them. You can't one-way them. You can't do anything. You just
can't.
You got to let them be.
You got to leave the bats alone until August 1st.
So think about that. We had one couple that was it was a couple. They were probably in their 50s.
Are they like an endangered species?
Yeah, well, not endangered species, but when they have babies, and I don't even know all the rules, but I know that for even like in Ohio, you can't do anything about bats until August 1st.
Really?
So
I'm just blown away by that.
So he's got this deal to where they're flipped out. I mean, this guy was shining lights on outside of his house. He was like, "Can you get my bats out?" And it was like, "No, dude, we can't do anything for you, right?
Dude, we can't get the bats out of your belfry.
We can't get the bats out of your belfry." And the pitch was, Dustin selling, well, we'll seal up all the other entries so they don't find another place to go.
Right.
But again, the customer wants the bats out of the house, right? We couldn't even go up there and do the remediation to clean the attic up, right? So we're stuck with that. And he, at that point in time, he didn't do a great job of creating urgency. So we sat in the car and we talked about it. I said, dude, what could you have done to do something now? Because they can't physically do the work.
Right.
They can do some of the other stuff, sealing up all the other areas where the bats aren't. But where they're coming out of that house every night, they can't do anything. So I said, what if you positioned them to look, August 1st, this is going to bust wide open.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have to wait down the schedule. We're already X deep, and using that that scarcity of availability to be able to do the jobs. You know, I was talking to some guys down in Florida yesterday about fumigations where they're subbing them all out, and you know they're out into July. You know, like you got to get on the schedule now.
Right.
I know we can't do anything for the bats, so the customer's thinking, well, they can't do anything till August 1st, but you have to create that urgency by saying, let me get you on the schedule, because these people were flipped out.
So what I like about that, especially the way you said it, you don't want to close the sale. You can't do that because you can't offer the service there and then.
Right.
So I can't close the service, but I can close the date.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way of looking at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Anything else you got?
No, that was a great approach, though.
Yeah, and I think the season comes into play too.
Yeah.
You know, as we sell a whole bunch more insulation. You know, I saw a memo the other day that the Rollins brands have sold, Rollins as a company, sold almost $200 million. $200 million in tap attic type insulation.
Wow.
Right? So if you think about that, when do people mostly think about insulation? When Home Depot starts running the ads in the fall when it gets cold. You know, you get out there, you're doing an insulation proposal now. You know, let me get this knocked out for you now before the schedule gets so full you won't be able to take advantage of the savings, advantage of the comfort. You know, let's get in there now. Let's fix some of the stuff with the air conditioning and those kind of things as well.
I like getting back to, was it Dustin?
Yeah.
That example of, you know, you get in the car with them, and then you said, okay, here's how we could position that better.
Yeah.
And I think if we all did that, so let's talk about how we can position this with a sense of urgency and then come up with your own creative tactic. I think that's kind of what we're trying to say. Come up with a way of framing it that doesn't come across as cheesy, but it really is an effective way of creating urgency.
I would encourage the team too, as you sit around in your meetings and your managers and your leaders, come up with one that the urgency wasn't there. You couldn't create the urgency and spitball it and figure out what could we have done different? Because I think that's where the best ideas are. They're not going to come from me and you. I mean, they're going to come from them working it together. The urgency, I think, has got to be incredibly logical. It's got to be believable. And it's got to be real. It can't be something made up. You know, like the garage door seal or the driveway sealant. Those kind of things. All that hokey stuff. The customer has to believe that it's real, and you have to believe that it's real. Why you're doing it now?
I think the salespeople get a bad rap in general because we always emphasize the hokey close. You know, that's what you always promote on movies. You know, Wolf of Wall Street, stuff like that. You know, all the underhanded stuff. But if we were to look at this list and look at the true grinders on this list, I bet you there's no hokiness or salesiness in their presentations.
No, and cruising with Dustin, who's you know punching his ticket to the rack trip. He's over $1 million in sales for them already.
What do you think is his secret sauce?
He's incredibly authentic. And I told him that when I left him. I said, dude, so he lived it. He was a tech for 3 or 4 years. You know, he did the work. So that's a one-up, right? He made sure to share that with people. But he came across,
give me an example, push you on a spot here, of his authenticness.
He didn't come anywhere near across as a slick, silver-tongued salesman. He shared pictures, he shared solutions, and he just kind of told the customer, this is what we're going to do for you. And he said it with such confidence, and maybe not confidence, but competence, that the customer knew. I mean, I knew that he knew what he was talking about, right? And my first day, the first time I'd ever met him. And I'm like, okay, who am I riding with? You know, just get in the car and go. Just the way he carried himself all day. He looked professional. He put his booties on. You know, he put his PPE on when he went up into the attics. You know, just the way.
The basics. And by the way,
as simple as it sounds.
I've always loved that phrase that, you know, it's competence that builds confidence. That's why you got to get good at your service. How to talk to customers about the problem. That builds the confidence.
No, for sure. And he was one that I think that I've convinced to ask for it all up front. You know, because we went through just the ways that he was presenting it, and we even talked with Jason Sacco, their leader, about maybe presenting things a little bit different, to position the whole bundle first, instead of piecemealing it or line iteming it almost as he was doing. I said, let's change that on the next one. And we sold the next one. I don't know if that's why we sold it, but we sold the next one because we just went for all of it up front. And the customer said, well, that's way too much. I can't swing that. Okay, what can you swing? Here's the line item stuff.
Take out what you don't want.
And that's exactly what we did. And he said, man, that really works. I said,
that does work.
That works.
That really does work.
It was a great ride along. So I don't know. I'm just checking my notes to see if there's anything else here.
That's it.
You know, customers saying, they're not saying no, but they're saying later. They might as well be saying no. They might as well be saying no. And I think the other thing too, when you get these proposals that are out there that they don't buy that day, don't. I saw something online the other day. Don't pick up the phone and say, hey, Victor, I'm following up on our call. Are you ready to do that? Come, bring a reason for the phone call. Don't say, just calling to follow up. No. No. Hey, I just talked to my boss. We got an opening tomorrow because the job had to cancel.
Yep.
I can slip you in tomorrow, and we can save you 10% if we can do that now.
Yep.
If we can do that now. If I can get you to commit right now. Then you're leading with something. You don't say, I'm following up, and then spin that.
Yeah.
Figure out your approach. What are you going to say when you got all these proposals out there? What are you saying when you pick up the phone to call them back and check on progress? If it's, I'm calling to follow up,
Yeah.
You got to be more creative. Hey, I
Yep.
talked to my boss. Hey, I was thinking more about that. I was thinking more about your situation. I thought this. And I'm really worried that this is going to happen if you guys don't act on this pretty quick.
Right.
I'm really worried for you.
And if they tell you we've done something already with somebody else, good, close it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, take it out of your funnel.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you call that?
By the way, yeah, there's I call it forecastination.
Forecastination.
Or you keep forecasting something, but nobody buys. They get procrastinating.
It's never gonna happen.
Forecastination.
Yeah.
So the sooner you clear out your pipeline, the better.
Yeah, and just move on. Absolutely. So let's get out of here. Just some real short housekeeping. Man, I don't know. It's 95 degrees down here today, but just hydrate. Make sure you're hydrating your teams. Show up on these jobs, man. This begins to get into, Victor hates when I says that, these dog days of summer.
Yes.
Where people start to grind and they start to get tired.
Yeah.
And there's this big push to finish the quarter. The second half starts tomorrow. You know, y'all have had a phenomenal first half. The second half starts tomorrow. So, you know, we're not in the fourth quarter yet, but the second half starts. So get after it, replicate. If you weren't happy with your first half, you can turn it around in the second half. And then last and I guess maybe most important is have an exciting, enjoyable 250th America
Happy birthday, America! Yeah,
and be safe. Don't be one of them knuckleheads that blows his fingers off because they're messing with fireworks and just.
By the way, we're having a drone display for fireworks. Not us personally, the
community.
The community. So they're gonna have a
super
drone.
Cool. Those, I've seen those at football games. Those are
I'm dying to
super
see. I've not seen one yet, so I'm excited about
You're
that.
very creative.
Anyway,
that's all we got. We appreciate everything you're doing. Keep after it. Hey, Pat Porcello, congratulations on the promotion. He's a big president now,
Who's that?
Victor. Pat Porcello. He's a big president. I just saw him.
Is
in the
he?
picture.
Is he?
Oh, he got the big promotion. He got the big call. He got the call to the majors.
Did he get a call? Did they?
He got the
bring
call.
Him up. Bring him up.
Congrats, Pat. Seriously, man. Great. Love you. Take care, man. See y'all.
All right. Take care, guys.